Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome to a persistent moving forward Monday. Persistent. We got to be persistent. And thank you guys so much again. How was your weekend? How did you spend your weekend? Remember, we always like to know those things here because we want to know that all of us are doing well, that we did some good things and we had some fun time with our children, with our family. It's always a good thing to do because this is a good program to inculcate into the family dynamics, especially during the weekend, because for some reason our brains are tuned in to say, you know what, this is my relaxing moment, this is my me day, and this is a time to go and say hello to friends or cook some food and take to people who cannot cook or who are sick or who cannot even leave the home. So weekend is always a good time to do those things. And if we have not started doing it, please put it as your family program. You will be glad that you did. Always sit, even if it means watching just a movie together or maybe watching something productive with your children. And when you keep doing that consistently, you will see that these children, that is exactly what they're going to be doing too. You might think that, oh, they're not even paying attention. They are. Their eyes might not be paying attention, that their ears are. Before you know, you see them doing things and you'll be like, oh, wow, I didn't know that they were paying attention. They pay attention. So thank you guys so much for being here. I want to thank you again, Sister Yvonne, for always being here to be that support, not just here. I really highly thank God for what you're doing here, even behind the scenes, and trying to do all the research and everything to making sure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are really dotted. Because when you're dealing with children, we want to make sure that we do our very best and the best of how we know how to do it. And thank to the managing director and to everyone else and the other panelists that are working behind the scene. I understand. I always say, if you don't do what you're doing on ground, there's no need to come here because that is what matters. We have to be in action. My weekend was fun, okay? For those who saw me, it was fun. And I just learned this new term. Ngwe is the one who said, talk and do. Talk and do. I say my own differently, but she says talk and do. And then another young person among those that depend on me from my village that I helped to buy an engine saw, he saw what I was doing. He said, wow, say, sister, you are talk and do. Now they gave me a name, talk and do. And so that means, we don't just talk, we have to do it. Action, action, action. So I had fun tilling.
We know, we saw you.
So now I would like to know how your weekend went and let us take it from there. But as we all know, at the beginning of the week, we always have to offer our children, our young people, and these women in prayer to the one that created us, all of us, even, because without that, we will not be here. And so if we are breathing today, why don't we thank him for the dawn of a beautiful new day and for the things that we are now doing, because not everybody is fortunate to be doing what we are doing here. So it's always a great thing to do that. So Monday, we are now in the Mantle of Hope Revolution 247. Why is the world crying for the freedom of children, youth, and women, particularly the young girls? Why? Before we start on that, Melanie is supposed to be here. Like I said, she's on ground doing some work. So we're going to offer a prayer before we continue. So let us just do whatever you want, not what is here. Just do whatever you want. But if we are helping children, we want to be able to be the role models here, and so they can listen to this, and then hopefully they will also begin to put their own prayer in place that is going to help them. And prayer means maybe you're drinking a glass of water, or if you're like me, it's cold here, you're offering your tea, a cup of tea to God in prayer, or maybe you are meditating, or maybe you're just eating a brunch. You're offering everything in prayer. It doesn't matter because all of these things, God created them. There's no one particular way as opposed to what the mainstream say it has to be this way. No, you study the Bible by yourself. You will know what it means and you do it your own way. So now let us pray. Divine creator of life and light, we come to you with hearts full of hope and voices raised from freedom. Hear the cries of the world echoing the longing for liberation. As women and children everywhere yearn for peace, dignity, and the power to dream. Grant strength to those bound by unseen chains of injustice, that they may break free and rise to their fullest potential. Bless our movement with courage, compassion, and wisdom, that we may be a beacon of love and protection, uplifting each soul we encounter with the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Unite us, O Lord, as one global family, standing for equality and opportunity. And let our actions speak louder than words, so that every woman, every child, and every young person may feel the warmth of freedom's light. These we commit and submit everything, Lord, into your hands. We ask. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Yes.
Amen. And amen.
Yes.
Yep.
So this prayer is a call for unity and strength, for action rooted in love, and for hope that every step we here take brings the world closer to a place where all our children, all our young people, all the women are free, free to be themselves, free to be who God has created them to be, free to do and to help, free to be kind, free to do what God has put in them to do in order to continue to help. Because this is a continuous thing, it will never end. Because we are not ending, we are here, we are still going to be here. The children will continue, the generations upon generations. So it's a beautiful thing to do. So the question is, why is the world crying for the freedom of children, youth, and women, particularly the young girls? Why is the world crying? Crying is not just shedding tears. People are suffering. They are toiling. Crying, some people are bleeding from gunshots. Some people are bleeding from hunger. They are crying because their children cannot read or write, because they themselves, they couldn't read or write. Why all of this? What can we do about it? Is the question. We're not just talking about this, we have to do it, because talking about it is not enough. You cannot be trying to teach a child that has not eaten and you expect that child to listen to you. You can't even have the strength to teach that child if you yourself, you've not eaten, and eating in this case appropriately. And it therefore calls for what is called food sovereignty, which is one of the things that we're going to be talking about here. Because it entails a lot. Food sovereignty entails a lot. We're going to be hopefully this week next week, and then we're also going to be talking about our mantles here, the men. We're going to talk about the men a lot too here, and therefore talking about the young boys. So now, what does that just begin to put your own there? Why do you think that the world is crying? What do you see around you? What do you see even in your home? Because it begins in the home. It begins with us. Nothing is happening out there that it didn't start from the home. Nothing. It starts from the home. Because if we here have come to this agreement to unite, to say we are going to do whatever it takes with peace and love, and it will begin to just affect every person in a very beautiful and loving way, without somebody having to fight or exchange words with anybody. And this is what we are doing here, because if we want to help children, we must do it with love and peace and that kind of freedom, to know that they too are created in the same image by Almighty God, that they too they have goals and dreams, and that they too have a mind of their own, that they can think for themselves, and instead of just imposing on them. And so we want to be, when we are raising these children, we're getting them included in their upbringing, so that they too have a say, so that we don't impose it. Because if we're imposing it, we're not giving them the choices that they need. They just need that guidance so that they can express what God has put in them. And so this is what we are talking about here. So we talk about our quotes. Quotes are very important because they teach us. Some of these quotes have been left by those who are gone before us, who have prepared the stage for us today to be using all of these things to help ourselves and these children. So freedom for women and children is the cry of the world, because we need love, we need care, and we need unity among us. Empowerment begins with the liberation of women and children for their freedom. Their freedom echoes the hope of a brighter tomorrow. When women and children rise, the world ascends to new heights of justice and equality. The cry for freedom from women and children is a call to our humanity, urging us to break the chains of oppression, hatreds, hunger, illiteracy, poverty, and dishonesty, and ignite the light of possibilities. Not one, possibilities. In the voice of every woman and child seeking freedom, we find the heartbeat of a world yearning for change. Change is necessary. Freedom for women and children isn't just a cry, it's a catalyst for a revolution of love, strength, and endless potential. As we answer the cry for freedom from women and children, we lay the foundation for a world where dreams are limitless and every soul can soar on their own terms given by Almighty God. The world's cry for freedom of women and children is a testament to the power of unity. We must unite, the power of resilience, and the unwavering spirit of humanity. Freedom for women and children transforms societies. It transforms our villages. It transforms our household. It transforms even you, even me, turning cries of despair into songs of hope and triumph. When we champion the freedom of women and children, we write a new narrative of courage, dignity, and boundless opportunity. The cry for freedom from women and children is a universal call to action. All of us, universal call to action, reminding us that true progress lies in their liberation and empowerment of women, children, and young people. This is very, very important because it is going on. A lot of things are going around the world, but because we don't really take the time to know things, to ask questions, to even really take a closer look at things, we just say, no, you know what, we're just charting our own courses. Of course, it's good to build yourself. Like my grandmother said, the best investment that you can ever give yourself is to invest in yourself. Just three words: invest in yourself. And so it is good to do that, because when you invest powerfully in yourself, then you are ready now to really help these children. And we are here today for that. And we thank God for Mr. Ash Mufara again and again, because we have never seen a global family that is being brought together under the umbrella of uplifting humanity from the heart, that the human being is in the center of everything that we do. Because without you, without Sister Yvonne, without Good Time, without Melanie, without John, without everybody here, me, this Mundih, will not be opening my mouth here. So the spirit of Ubuntu exists in you, in me, in all of us. And when we have this love for children, we must come together to just do that. So, what does the statement freedom for women and children? Children crying. What does the statement freedom for women and children is a cry of the world mean to you? What does it mean to you? But I'm going to give you what it means to me. But I know that it means different things to different people, depending on your orientation, depending on your environment, depending on your circumstances. But there is a truth that it means one thing according to how we were created. The statement freedom for women and children is the cry of the world, carries profound meaning and significance. What does this mean? We talk about universal demand for freedom. Universal. Universal. Even us. Do you give freedom to your children at home? Or do you put them in a tight corner? Do you have toddlers in your home? And when somebody visits you, your home is so clean, it's so well organized. That tells a problem already, that those kids are not, you don't let them, because kids explore, they like to play. If you get into a home where they are teenagers, not teenagers, they are toddlers, they are crawling around, they like to get into stuff. You see the place so clean, they don't even have a playroom. Know that something is being done to those children, and it is up to you not to say something there. You don't want to spark a fight. You go and see what you can do to help that family, because sometimes they don't even know what they're doing. Because so a lot of people, a lot of us parents, we place so much importance on strangers coming to see how beautiful our homes are, instead of placing so much importance in creating an educational environment for our toddlers, our children. And that means they're going to throw the Legos one side, they're going to throw the book here, they're going to throw the toy piano here, they're going to do this. They can't keep it still, because that is the way they explore and grow. So that is very important. So the term cry of the world implies a widespread global demand or plea. We are pleading. It suggests that the need for freedom for women, children, and young people is not limited to a particular region or a culture, but is a universal concern. You're now in the United States, you're in Canada, in Rwanda, in India, all over the world. Mr. Ashman Farah brought us together. And that's, all of us are right here in one global movement. Therefore means we are all crying. Otherwise, there will be no need for us gathering here together, but to do just that. And then number two, we talk about emphasis on vulnerability. When we talk about the world crying for the freedom for women, children, and young people, we talk about this statement places emphasis on vulnerability. Women and children are often among the most vulnerable groups in society. True or false? Is that true, or is it just in my head, or is that true? Now, the statement highlights the importance of addressing their specific needs and their specific rights. Know that these needs are unique. What is good for one child might not be good for the other. What is good for you might not be good for me. And it therefore calls for us to unite and respect the demands and the needs of each and every individual without criticizing the child, without saying, no, this is the way to go. Who says that is the way? We need to, okay, why is this child wanting to do this thing this way? And we follow it. You might end up even learning something from that child that is new, that you never know. So we meet the child where they are and take them where they are at their own pace and rhythm to where they want to be, and then let them lead the way. Don't impede a child. Let them lead the way, because you will end up getting more when you give that kind of freedom to a child. That is very important. And now, that cry, remember we say it's a plea, a universal plea. That cry, number three, is calling for action. Action. The use of the word cry conveys urgency and emotional intensity. Urgency. Think about a mother crying, unable to put food on the table for the child. A mother crying, unable to pay the tuition for the child. A father who has lost the job and cannot take care of his family. Think about a mother and a father, especially a mother crying because the husband has been shut down. I'm really sorry that I have to say these things the way they are, because we see it every day. Think about a father that is sick in the hospital and cannot even perform. Maybe the father is going through some challenges, like health insurance challenges. They don't even have the good health insurance to treat themselves. A whole host of things can cause this problem. That is why we say we start from the very first day one. We start investing in this child. We start building that future, but it has to start with us. Don't say, okay, tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow is going to come. It's going to be a beautiful day. But what did you do today to take that action? That means we call for action. So it calls for immediate action. And this is very, very significant. Take little actions. Tomorrow might not meet you. Tomorrow might not meet me. So let us do it today so that these children are not left in the world. A lot of the children, the parents were sick. They died. Some of them, they can't see illness, something. Anything can happen. So we want to make sure that we take action right now with what we have and where we are without giving any excuse for not doing anything. Now, what is the significance of this cry? What is the significance? We talk about the significance, number one, human rights. Human rights. The statement underscores the importance of human rights, emphasizing that freedom and equality are fundamental rights for all, particularly for women, children, and young people who have historically been marginalized. This is very, very important. We marginalize our own children. I was marginalized, not by an outsider, by a father, a biological father for that matter. I'm not just saying this, I always say home because that's where it starts. And now, when you marginalize a child, you expose that child to danger, to outside danger, to the outside world. This child will go into the world with that same mentality, and the child will not be able to know love from hate. The child will not be able to know that they are oppressing them or they are taking away their right. They will not be able to know because we started it in the home. We see it every day going on within us, and sometimes knowingly or unknowingly, but it is there. So it is a call for human rights, the rights that our children and us were born with, inalienable rights, right, that must never, ever be taken away from any child. Never. But seek to nurture that child, to expose him to those rights, to teach him how these rights can be used in an ethical manner is the most important thing that we want here. This is what we want. We should not hide those things from children. I see a lot of us, we hide information. We hide information from children. I see parents competing with their own children. Maybe their children are doing better than them. And this might trigger something in their past that they neglected, they didn't work on. Now, the child, because the child is doing well, it triggers that in them. And now they begin to fight with their own children. I've seen it and I've been a witness to it. And so we need to mind this, because if we all just come together, keep learning every day, knowing that we need to nurture these children, love them in the way that they were given to us, I bet you all the craziness that is going on in the world will drop more than 80%. I'm telling you, but it starts in the home. Now, we talk about global awareness and advocacy. Remember, we talked about these when we were treating our children ambassadors. We talked about global awareness and advocacy. That cry is a cry for global awareness and advocacy. It reflects the growing global awareness and advocacy for gender equality, the rights of children, and the rights of women, the rights of young people. I embody all of this because I wasn't just discriminated because of my gender, but because I was a child. They took advantage of me because I was a child. And
Mm-hmm.
it therefore means I was not equal. That it means some people were more important than me. And that's why I was refused an education. But thank God for my grandmother who is watching from above. So this is what we need to do. You need to fight for your child. We're not talking about physical fight. That kind of fight that comes with love and humility that says, I am determined to make sure that my child succeeds. I am determined to make sure that my child is happy. I am determined to make sure that my child eats at least one healthy meal a day. I am determined to make sure that this child drinks clean water instead of drinking from contaminated lakes or water that is not good for their bodies. This is what we are talking about. And these are simple, earthly things that we were created with. If we can just put our mind in that space to say, this is what we are going to do. So global awareness reflects the glowing, it's everywhere. Look in your community. Just look around the world. Don't just depend on the news that is being brought to you. Have you done your research? Do your research and find out how some children are suffering in other areas of the world. We have been so endowed with plenty, with so much. Why is it that we are crying for these women and children? Why can't they have their own fair share? God has given us so much so that we cannot afford to be taken from other people. When you take from somebody forcefully, or oppressing somebody, what you're doing is you're killing the children, you're denying the rights of those children. And this is not good, because when you see things, what do you think the people that depend on that person are going to do? Then you create a generation of people that are going to be poor, they're going to be hungry, they're going to be sick, and then it continues. And remember, it's a global thing. What affects a child in the United States affects a child in Canada. What affects a child anywhere in the world affects children everywhere in the world. This is our cry. I am a mother. I cannot afford to see my own son not have the quality education that he needs, not eat healthy food, not have the freedom to express their mind. A lot of children, if they don't have that freedom, they start developing attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. And when they diagnose that, the essence is not purely medication. I'm not a doctor, but it is telling us that we need to focus on these children and raise them the way that they need to be raised, and give them that freedom to express what is up here. They have too much up here. If they can't express it, now it busts out into different things, because we, the parents, the adults, and the caregivers, are preventing these children from expressing themselves. And it also means we want to make sure that what they are teaching our children, it's appropriate, or they are absorbing it, or maybe if it's below them, you advocate for your own child to be given something that is going to match for their brain. It's our responsibility. Very, very important. So international organizations like ours here now, government organizations, governments all over the world, and civil society are increasingly recognizing and working towards these goals. They're working towards these goals, that every child be inclusive, every child be given choices, every child has a possibility to attend quality schools and gain quality education, that every child needs to eat, instead of us going to toss the leftover food into the trash. Then we buy freeze drying machines and put them there, and hopefully go and distribute it to children that are looking for food to eat. Go to the refugee camps, or go to the homeless shelters. We distribute this food without wasting it. Without wasting it. That is so important. And then intersectional approach. This statement calls for intersectional approach. The statement encourages an intersectional approach to addressing issues of freedom, recognizing that women, children, and young people face unique and intersecting forms of oppression and discrimination. We do. We see it. I was discriminated upon. It starts from the home. And when it starts from the home, the child is bound to take it from the community. And they are bound to use that child. And that child, before you know, they develop emotional disturbances that are not healthy for them. And then we talk about empowerment and development. Ensuring freedom for women, children, and young people is crucial for their empowerment and the overall development of societies. We know that children and young people are the builders. You and I are not, because our strength is sapping away little by little, which we did when we were young. Now is their turn. You can never, never, ever talk about any section in the economy without the young people being involved. They are the innovators, they are the content creators, they are the builders, they are the engineers, they are CEOs of major corporations, they are everything. You can never, never talk about any sector of the economy without these children being present. And therefore, it is telling us what? That we must invest the right way in these children, but ethically. When you invest in a child ethically, they're bound to succeed. And even if there is a challenge in the way, they know how to navigate it, and they will still do well for themselves, their families, and their villages or communities. So, educated, empowered women, children, and young people contribute significantly to the economy, right?
Yes.
to 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 social and cultural progress of all our communities. We know it. You see a child sitting there and singing in the shower, you're going to say, oh, stop singing, you sing too much. That child is already making a contribution, and that thing is in them. Or you see a child trying to do a little business. Maybe it's a 5 chicks per child program, or maybe it's selling a watermelon, or maybe it's doing something. We need to support that is how it starts. Look at Warren Buffett. I like Warren Buffett because he is one of the very good mentors here. That man is so God-fearing, and he's doing a lot of great things to transform the world. And so we need to let these children express themselves because they contribute significantly to all the sectors of our communities. And then we talk about moral imperative. It represents the fight for freedom as a moral imperative. That means it's a must. It's a must. Urging individuals, our children, women, and everyone and societies to take a stand against injustices and support the rights of women, children, and young people. So, why is the freedom for women and children such an important world issue? Why is it a world issue? Now we talk about freedom. We talk about a call for justice already and equality. We talk about that one. And we talk about for women in particular, I'm going to place an emphasis here because women, especially our young girls, go through a lot. For women, freedom means a chance to fulfill their potential, contribute fully to society, and live a life that are free from violence, sex trafficking, and all the other things that hurt our young girls in the world. It means a lot. And so, with all of this, it is a cry of the world because our shared humanity demands that we lift those who have been held back. It is our shared humanity that you and I, all of us here, remember Mr. Ash Mufara said we're going to be the correction to the corruption. He's not just talking about government corruption or church corruption or out there. No, it's for us. He has to use us who have been so corrupted in a lot of ways. Maybe corruption from envy, corruption from calling names, corruption from making children feel guilty. Those corruptions are even the worst corruptions in the world. Emotional corruptions are the worst. And so this is so imperative that we come together to do this. In essence, the cry for freedom, I repeat it, for women, children, and young people is about creating a future where every child, every woman, every young person, every individual can thrive unhindered by the past or present limitations. When a child did something 1 week ago, you don't bring that thing back and say, you did it, you did it, you did this. And now you're doing this again. What have you done? You've crushed the morale of that child. We're just going to say, okay, this child, because that's how we grow, all of us. Okay, we did this. Okay, let us see what we can do to fix it. And then next week, maybe they repeat the same thing. It means they haven't gotten it. Don't say that child is a stubborn child because everybody have their own rate at which they assimilate things. We just say, okay, let's try again. And when you keep trying with love and the child will feel it, they will see it, eventually they will learn the right thing. It is a cry of the world because our shared humanity demands that we lift those who have been held back. We know it. We know it. If you don't know, it means you're not reading your own history. You're not doing that. You're not doing your homework to know your own history or the history of the people around you. So the statement freedom for women, children, and young people is the cry of the world, refers or serves as a powerful reminder of the ongoing struggles for equality and justice. It calls for a collective action to ensure that women, children, and young people everywhere can live free from oppression, hatred, all forms of hatred, all forms of oppression, all forms of societal injustices, and reach their full potential. That is what it means to me. And that is what I grew up learning. And that is what my grandmother taught me. And now I am passing it on because as I grow up, I see a lot. As I travel, I see a lot in the world that is being meted against women and children and young people. It's not fun. They hold our society. You and I, they can lift 40 pounds, 50 pounds. You and I cannot lift it. So we better invest in them so that they can also help build that future for each and every one of us. So thank you so much for listening.
You know, it's it's good that we're talking about it, but when I was researching and I saw how far back this cry has been going on, you think, really, are we
Yeah.
ever going to get there? But the thing is, we can't give up, right? I
Right.
was reading a poem by Elizabeth Barrett Browning, and it's also called that. It's called the cry, yes, why are children crying? She was writing this about a specific situation in how children were being used to work, child
Mm-hmm.
labor in 1843. And there's it's 19, it's 13 stanzas, it's 9 pages, so I'm not going to read it here, but it says, it's there's a little quote here, and I hope taking out of context will give what the world is crying for the freedom of children because children around the world are increasingly unsafe and vulnerable to violence, disease, starvation, and other forms of suffering.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it hasn't stopped. And it says, then she says in the poem, do not mock us.
Mm-hmm.
Grief has made us unbelieving. This is the children obviously talking. We
Mm-hmm.
look up for God, but
Oh.
tears have blinded us. Do you hear the children weeping and disproving, oh, my brothers, what you preach? For
Mm-hmm.
God's possible is taught by his world's loving, and the children doubt each of those things. Because we're saying it's possible and we're saying the world should be loving our children, but the children doubt both those statements
Mm-hmm.
and they're still doubting it. And
Yep.
yes, the cry here in North America or the developing world or the global south or whatever we want to call it is different. But what about the children in the global north, which they're saying is the developing countries? What about those children who are actually starting even further back with these abuses of war,
Mm-hmm.
running, hiding, turning into child soldiers? What about those? Do we not hear that cry? And who is working on it except what? A few people?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that the most important thing staring in our face? And that is what we're talking about, that kind of a freedom, right?
Right.
Freedom means a lot of things, as you say at the beginning, because over here, North America, it means a little bit different than it means when somebody is being handed a gun at 5 years old to go and become a soldier. But
Mm-hmm.
it's still a cry, it's a suffering. The world is crying for the freedom of children, right? There's violence towards children. Children are often used as weapons in war
Mm-hmm.
and are victims of injury, illness, disability, and child abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lack of education and healthcare. Children may not have access to the education and healthcare that they need. And it's not may not, we know that they don't.
No,
In
they
many,
don't.
many places, they don't. And then there's the socioeconomic shocks. Children may experience those kinds of shocks because they're living in abject poverty. When I see what children go through to fetch just water, just clean water, that was one of the first pictures I saw. I think I sent you the photo of that. The
Yes.
little girl is being let down on a rope and the water is down there, which means if she lets go,
Sure.
there won't be time to rescue her.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way to send her smaller and lighter. Children may experience cultural shocks that impact their life because even if we do adopt them, children, and bring them out of their culture and bring them here, that is not good for them either.
It's not. Mm-mm.
It's another shock. And then,
Yes.
of course, they develop lack of trust.
Yes.
How can they trust us? How can they trust us, the adults, when we're not even doing good for ourselves and we're not doing good for them, certainly? So, I mean, I know today it sounds a little bit, I'm not upbeat about this because it just seems like it's just going around in circles. But I know that one global movement has a plan, and with God's interference, if you want to call it that, and interjection, and with even on passive, because we need the funds to do that, and we have to get the funds from everywhere we can, sister.
Yes.
So yeah, I agree with you on this. There are some campaigns that raise awareness about children's rights, and they include something called Yellow Fellow, Learn Not Earn. I guess they're talking about child labor, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a girl thing
Mm-hmm.
that breaks stereotypes associated with girls that they should only be good for, marriages and whatever, housekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is one also called Not Yet. It raises awareness about child marriage. And then there's Poor iPad, iDesk, Balahai, raises awareness about the importance of girls completing secondary education, at least.
Yes.
So there are some things happening, But in my estimation, it's not happening fast enough, sister. It's just
It's not. It's not. It was there even before our grandparents were born. It's not. And the thing is, when you talk about this, my heart is very. When I was doing research on this, I cried like a child. It bothers me, but still, I have to talk about it. If you don't talk about, if you
Oh, you
don't
have to. You
accept
have
that,
to.
acknowledge that something is there, how are you going to talk about it? So I was thinking, because shadow adoption is one of the programs that I have down for
Yeah.
One Movement.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
shadow adoption, it's something that I coined in my head, because that is something that I grew up seeing my grandparents and my mom doing. You have in my village, say you have 5 children or you have 2, and you are educating those children. Those children are eating well, they're doing well. My mom, we were doing well in terms of food, unless they have to
Yeah.
seize it from us. Even in terms of money, we struggle
Yeah.
here and there, but my mom, they were
Yes.
able
Yes.
to educate
Yes.
us. So if you have 2 children, they make it a policy that you adopt, like, I make it a policy. That's what I was thinking, because they didn't make it a policy, but the people in the village, especially from my family, we it's our culture to raise children that
Mm-hmm.
parents cannot raise them. So we've
Yes.
always lived with brothers and sisters. And
Mm-hmm.
but now, considering the world of today, the law is very crucial. So I was thinking, if somebody has 2 children, they can educate those children. They're loving them, they're educating them. Now you adopt another child, one, and take it for your own. And that child will remain within that culture. That child has
Definitely.
only extended the family, but that child will also be there, not just for you. The parents have to be together, so that that
Yeah.
child does not lose sight of the parents or the siblings or something.
The
We have
culture.
the culture
Culture, sister.
together
Yes.
intact,
Yes.
intact. Because if a child is adopted by a different culture, I bet you that is just the cultural shock right there. That
Right.
child, most of them are not the same, but it doesn't matter to people. So there's always a way to do it better, so that that
Oh, yeah.
child remains within that culture, because that culture was created for a reason. And so if
Yes.
you have 5 children, the same thing, you adopt one. If you have 10 and you love those children, you care for them health wise, everything, and those children become something. My
Yes.
mother, we live with so many children, and it's just an extended family now. You know,
Yes.
I
Yes.
have a
Yes.
half sister, and she herself, she chose my mom. Nobody even, we didn't take her.
She
She
chose her.
going to, they call my mom Mommy Fine Woman. So I'm going there. And that's how it happened. You know,
Chose her, right?
now
Yes. I love
One Global Movement, and as we continue to look for funds, you see me, what I'm doing is not because I want to do it, but because if I don't do it, then this thing it would not work.
yes.
One funnel of income, 2, 3, or 5 is not going to be sufficient for what children are
No,
facing
it's
in the
not.
world.
It's not. It's
To
not.
reclaim the mindset of those that have already gone that way, it's going to take quite some money. And then
Yeah.
we want to make sure that when the new ones are born, we start educating the parents not
Yes.
to let go. And if there is something happening, we have to know that something is happening in this home, so that they'll give us a report, and then we help. However, because there has to be help, there has to be help somehow.
There has to
In
be.
that
There
One
has to
Global
be.
Movement hospital, where these children can go there and be treated freely,
Yes.
it,
Yes.
it's a lot of
Absolutely.
things. And the thing is, I wish, sometimes I just want to shout out, crying like on the street. I wish the governments of all the countries and the churches can really focus on this, because
Yep.
there's a lot of greed and selfishness. You're talking about the developed world. The kind of child abuse that is going on is even worse than in the developing countries.
I know.
We know that. We know that. They don't talk about it, but it is there. We see it. It is there.
Absolutely.
And so we need to, since we can't control people, but we can certainly control ourselves. Let us do what we can do right
Yep.
here in our homes with
Yep.
ourselves and our own children, and then hopefully take it out.
Mhm.
This cry has gone on. Mothers are crying every day. You see, every mother. There is this musician from Africa, Prince Nico Mbarika. When the child cries, the mother cries.
Of
When
course.
the child is sick, the mother will raise their hands up to heaven and say, Lord, help me. Lord, help me. These are the cries of women. They're crying every day. That thing
Every
really
day.
bothers me a lot. So,
Every
but
day.
we can really help with these things here if we just come together to do the truth thing, not just talking, not just coming here. We need to do something.
Yep.
We need to
Mhm.
do something. nothing. I am doing a lot of things here just to try to raise money so I can recruit other people to help me, because I need to go pick up clothing for winter. A lot of things that I need to do, but I'll just do one at a time because I can't just be everywhere by myself.
Yeah,
But I know that God has a plan for us here in One Global Movement.
He does. And
And,
so
and
long as, we keep trusting him and keep keeping our priorities straight, because, we all over the world, you hear children are our priorities, there or this, but where are the hands, And if they're not our priorities and if we're not doing it, the time will pass and we will have not done it for another generation. That is a terrible thought.
a very terrible one. I sit sometimes, I look at my son. I look at the other 9 children I look at all the children that I know
Yeah.
now.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at, I said, what is going to happen to my grandchildren? What is
Yeah.
going to happen? Because this is the way we need to think. Because if we set a base, like a strong, solid foundation based on the Creator, and we do the right thing without looking at the pockets of these parents or the children, without looking at the color of the skin, without looking at how powerful we are, without looking on greed and power, we will do wonders in the world. Because when you clear your mind and your heart of all those impurities, things begin to come to you from nowhere that you don't even know. Because this is what we're
Absolutely.
talking about here.
Yep.
Wow.
We talk about generational wealth, and most times I think when people say that, they're talking about money,
Yes.
straight up, crass money. And there's nothing wrong with money, because this is how we pay our way in the earth, right? We might be spiritual beings, but we can't live by the spirit alone. We have to have actual hard currency. And that's okay. I understand that. But why do we want that if it's not for our children? That is the generational wealth right there.
Right there.
No.
Yes, it is. And we will do it. Let's keep supporting one another here.
Oh, absolutely, we're doing it. Yes.
Here. Yes. Let me appreciate our amazing.
Absolutely. Please do go ahead.
Our
Yes.
brother here, Levi Mama Bolo, you are number 1. This week is going to be
yes,
wonderful.
he is.
Greetings, my wonderful brothers and sisters in our hashtag village, where we are we are raising children with love and compassion.
Yes,
Thank
we
you
are,
so
brother.
much. And greetings and welcome, brother Levi, Mama Bolo, and everyone. We are grateful for your presence and support. Thank you for joining OGM again today to speak with heart for our children globally. Hashtag One Global Movement. Speak with heart. And please like and follow us on Facebook at the link below right here. That's the link, and I'm sure the managing director and Nancy, they're going to do their thing too. And subscribe if you're new. Always subscribe, please. We need more resources. Even if we have $100 billion today, I don't think it's going to be enough to do what we need to do here. But we can start, and then God would take care of the rest.
Yes.
And our sister Sharon, how are you? Thank you so much for being here today, and thank you for working so hard this weekend. I appreciate it. Thank you. Hashtag One Global Movement. Do you have comments on the topic for today? Please share them in the chat. And the topic is: the world is crying for the freedom of children, youth, and women, particularly the young girl. Why? Thank you so much, Sister Sharon, for saying hello to us here on the panel. And let's go down here. We thank you, Gutam, for your presence and your love for children. We appreciate you. Set yourself apart from those corrupt generation. Be saints. You were not made to fit in. You were born to stand out. Jim Casiviezel. Hashtag free the children. Hashtag One Global Movement. Hashtag the world is watching. That is so true. Let us free our children, please. To us, the parents, the caregivers, and the adults, it starts with us. If you free your child, that spirit goes with the child outside, and that child will be free as well. Let us do that. And happy birthday to everyone who is celebrating their birthday today. Happy birthday to our beautiful sister Nancy yesterday. You didn't let us know, but hey, we found out.
Is it Nancy or is it her sister?
Is it your sister? Is it?
I think she said it's her sister.
Okay. Okay, double birthday, Nancy.
Double birthdays, yes.
Say happy birthday to your sister, Nancy. Okay, I got it mixed up. Thank you.
Yeah.
Absolutely on point with that quote, Sister Ballyhoo, Pushpin Media. Yes. And the managing director is saying hello to everyone here to One Global Movement. Speak with her today. Please feel free to comment here in the chat with your thoughts. Thank you, John. And we have Debendranath Singh her. Sir, if you're new here, you're welcome here. And thank you so much for joining us here. We need everyone to be here with us when you can, so that together we will reach every child in the world. Thank you so much. Encourage others to come, your children and your young people. Thank you so much. And let's go down here. We have Maria Jars. Thank you so much for always being here to support children in the world. We appreciate you. John said, did you folks see what Yvonne was doing this past weekend? Oh, Yvonne Finn. Okay.
No, not me. He's talking about you, Dr. Mundih.
He was making that land ready to grow food. How wonderful. Thank you, John. So you saw that too. Thank you. I'll show you guys a short video if you guys are able to do so. But it was fun because I was interacting with the animals too. They started coming close to me. They were running away. Now I say, good evening. How are you? Now they stand and listen, and then they start coming for food. Then I get the corn. I give it to them.
They are so big and beautiful and healthy. I didn't realize, when you said deers, I thought little teeny cute things, but these are big animals.
They are big. This father has been feeding them for years, about 70-something of them. But since not everybody's in that mindset, they will stray off and then they get shot,
Oh.
Yes.
They're so beautiful. Oh, my.
You see the turkeys. Oh, my God. Everything. Yes. Those things they're enjoying. The way the father built the place, the animals love it. Corn in piles bought for those animals.
It's lovely. Yeah.
Very lovely. I love it. Pretty soon I'll just take a picture of one if they let me just touch them.
They're going to watch and see. Yes.
Yes. And we have our brother Kamalesh Kuma. How are you? We miss you, but you're here today. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining us again today. We appreciate you. Thank you. Yvonne Finn, the other play Shift of Opinion is starting rehearsal this week. So I am going to be busy rehearsing and memorizing lines and working on 2 characters. I'm playing one is Mark Twain. Yeah. Whoa, I know Mark Twain. That's one of my mentors.
Yes. Really?
Yes. Thank you so much, John.
He's one of your dead mentors?
Yes. Dead. He's dead. I still read his works.
Of course. He's very like us because that's what you call a legacy. He's left a great legacy.
Yes. So thank you so much for letting Yvonne know. So she has a lot on her shoulders. And Sister Yvonne, I would like the name of that book and those organizations so I can also read about them. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. No problem.
You are doing a lot of research, helping me that way. I'm really happy.
I love research. You know that. So yeah.
Yes. I love it too. Sometimes I have to focus on these and then I can. But
you can't do that. Yeah, yes. I know.
Hello, Melanie. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Now you just invited good trouble to yourself. Okay. I thank you for the video that shows that you are doing well. You are really doing a wonderful job, and it's going to keep getting better and better. Thank you so much. I'm going to post it all over so that people can watch, because like this that told me this weekend, talk and do. It means you talk and you do it.
Talk and do, yes.
Words and action. That's what it means. So thank you so much for really taking your time to do that for One Global Movement. Children.
Thank you, Melanie. Yep.
And the torture of children should not be a partisan or political issue. It is lawless, and it defines our character and integrity as a nation. Hashtag the world is crying. Thank you so much. It's true. I am crying. I was crying too. The way they torture children.
Look, you can't research this topic without crying. It's impossible. Because it just gets worse and worse as you dig deeper and deeper, and you say, and then to me, when you see how long it's been going on, it's not like it's something that's happened just because. It's like, as you said, the abuse of the vulnerable. It's always been about women and children when it comes to that. I know John is going to take exception at that, but women and we're just easy pickings.
No, we know who perpetrates all of these kind of things. Even though they now end up, the young boys are being abused now as well, but mostly they are the young girls. This fact can never be denied.
Okay.
Those that are gender inequality, mostly they discriminate against the woman, the young girl. Even in our country here, there are some
everywhere.
everywhere.
Well,
Why? We need to. It's only us who can stop this kind of corruption. This is corruption. This is the worst corruption in the world. Not even the money corruption that people are thinking about.
No, because this is human beings, a life, a precious life. Yes.
Melanie says, I tried going on to StreamYard and image and message reads.
Mic and camera block. Just click again. Oh, but you're in now, I think. Just click again, Melanie. I get that sometimes. I don't know why.
Or maybe she wanted to come to the stage or what. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's what she means. Sorry, Melanie. Yeah.
I don't know why.
Because it does that sometimes, but it's. I think they are working on it. So just click it. Just come out and click the link again. That's what I often do.
I think that's what we faced a problem last week too with this StreamYard.
Yeah. They are working on it, and it might not have gone well. You know how technology is, right? One little thing you do wrong, and the whole thing. Look at what we're going through here. So yeah, you have to. Yeah. Just be persistent, as Sister is always saying. Yes.
Yes. Let us be persistent, please. Thank you so much for trying. And our managing director says, freedom for women and children, #freedom, #call for freedom.
Yep.
All right. And let's go down here. Thank you so much, Yvonne. I would really enjoy playing Mark Twain. I will research what his character was like. I know he was a bit flamboyant.
He was, yes.
Well, you must be flamboyant too, John. Just make sure you put on
I know. Just put on that hat that you like to wear sometimes.
Yeah, you put on that hot hat, okay?
Yeah.
The hat of authority.
You're going to be great, John. Going to be great.
And our beautiful sister, Nancy, I was confused. The birthday with you, I thought it's your birthday. I'm like, how did Nancy not tell us? You better tell us. Don't be quiet, okay? All right, the dancing queen. Thank you so much, Nancy. And I saw the things you prepared today, but I'm still waiting for mine in the mail.
In the mail?
My own food in the mail, okay? And special greetings to a wonderful sister Sharon from our brother from the sunny Pretoria, and our brother Yusuf Adu. How are you, brother? Thank you so much for always being here to support our children. We highly appreciate your presence and your contribution. And let's go down here, and then we have our brother who is making sure that we are safe from the flames. Thank you so much, Brother Cecil Wire, for being that strong pillar behind us here and behind our children. We highly appreciate you, brother. Keep fighting for us. Keep fighting for the children. Thank you. And freedom for women and children is simple. In simple terms, we are creating a society where we can live without fear. We will pursue our dreams and fully participate in all aspects of our life. Thank you so much. All aspects of life. Thank you so much. You know, this thing, when we say children don't trust nobody, I'm telling you, as you were saying, it really hurts when children are afraid to even do anything. But that's why we need to keep on doing what we are doing, so they can at least trust us as parents and caregivers here. As adults, they can trust us. That is why we want only people that are really God-fearing. They speak from the heart, people that have the love for children, not predators. We don't want anybody here, or people that are negative, that want to only me. We don't want that here. That's why I say, even me, Mundih, I need correction in certain aspects, because I don't know everything. If we don't do this, then we're continuing to promote that aspect of saying you are a loser, you are a failure. Then children will run away. They won't want to say things about themselves or say things that are bothering them, or if somebody abuses them, they won't say it. You know, they're not the authority. We know the authorities are there, but if a child fails to say something to the authorities and say it to one of us, it therefore means that maybe the child might have encountered something with the authorities that they are afraid, or they are just ashamed. Maybe they trust you. Let us take it to the authorities first.
Yes.
Before we
Absolutely.
do our own part, we know what to do. And then we tell the authorities, this is what we do. We can help in this aspect. We can help in this aspect. We can provide food. We can provide shelter. We can pay their tuition, or we can do something to give that economic stability and freedom to that child. Because if they don't have economic stability and freedom, this is how a lot of our children, especially young girls, fall into these hands of predators, and they fall into this trap because they're trying to get money. They say, hey, here, I'll give you $1,000. Come. You see? Very ugly.
Yes, very, very.
And hashtag JJB Tinman, hashtag Big Heart, hashtag Unpassive, hashtag Ashmufare, hashtag Unpassilious, hashtag Human Rights for Women and Young Girls and all youth.
Yes, John.
Okay. Okay, John. Oh, this is loud and clear. That's good. You're standing up. That's good. Hello,
Yes.
sir Manoj. How are you? Thank you so much, sir, for supporting our children worldwide. We appreciate you. Let us keep spreading the gospel of one global movement and helping children to trust us. Let us really show genuine love. And then, if anything is bothering us, anybody that sits and like a 30-year or 40-year-old going to sleep with a 15 or 17-year-old, that's wrong. That is so ethically wrong. We don't need
Yes.
that.
Yes.
And Melanie says, hashtag one global movement, OGM, hashtag freedom for women and children, hashtag free from discrimination, hashtag addressing systemic
Systemic inequalities.
inequalities, hashtag gender and
And
age, hashtag economic independence, hashtag fair wages. Let
yes.
us hurry with this one global movement and create jobs. Everything like these farms is going to create jobs for people
Oh,
when
of
they,
course. Yes.
because I
Of
won't be
course.
able to establish every farm everywhere.
No, no,
And so
no.
when we
Exactly.
establish a farm, say in Rwanda, it's going to be for the young people and the people who can do it, and we pay them well because we want them to build their own wealth, not just to come and work for us. No, if you're working for us in a long time, I mean, we ourselves we fail those children without helping them to build their own wealth and go build their own businesses. That's the essence, not to hold people hostage to work for. No, I don't want that. If people are
Mhm.
working for you, people for life, it means you're not training those people enough to go and do their own things.
Mhm.
All right. Nancy says, I work hard for my children to be a triple of whom I am, not struggling the way I did to put bread on my table. That's one of my goals. Thank you.
Go.
Thank
That's
you.
nice.
That's a very
Yes.
beautiful goal, and I see you doing it. And that's why I attended some writing. I attended, yeah, it was the Media House of Sovereignty that were writing the book, and they asked us, what are your goals? What do you want to see happen? I said, I want to be the very first person in my family to to eradicate poverty, hunger,
Mhm.
illiteracy, abuse, and homelessness. That's what
Good.
I said,
Yes.
and so the lady cried. The lady was
Of
crying.
course. Of course. She
Yes.
cries because it's a lofty goal, but she also cries because she knows just how far out we are. But the thing is, we have to start somewhere. And again, the word persistence. It's like a car going up a hill. You have to just keep going, or else you're gonna slide back. We can't
No,
we
we're
can't
doing it.
afford we can't afford to slide back. We have to keep going forward.
Yes, and that's what we're doing here. That's why I say, take care of your own thing. Even if you don't come here, it will continue unless I am sick. If
Yeah.
I'm sick, that's another story. But if I'm sick, my son, my brother, Ngwe, or somebody will pick up the pace.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes, and
because it's a collective effort. You are here, somebody has to do something. It's a collective
yes,
effort. And until
absolutely.
we come to the consensus that we were born to work together and to help together, we will never get anything done.
And that's why we're always telling and asking our audience that if they have ideas or something that they want to see done, bring it here and let us all work on it so we can expand in this movement because
Yes.
we need, the more heads are better, more
More
ideas, more,
heads
yeah,
are better. Yes, we need that. We need that. More heads, more choices for children. That is good.
absolutely. So please read what I've just written there. I'm the
Yes.
next one down, I think.
Okay. I love one passive family. Yes, my brother. I do too. I do. I do. And the child sex trafficking is real thing, but you don't hear about it on the news.
No, you passed. You
We
passed what
need.
I.
Oh, what up
It
here?
was right. It was right after Nancy's. In between is Sister Melanie. It says, "Please remember, we are not giving medical advice and diagnoses on one global movement. Always seek medical care from the appropriate professionals." That's what I wanted
Yes.
to. Yeah.
Yes, yes, so true. And we say that all the time. We're just doing from our own experiences as
Yes. Yes.
mothers, as parents, as caregivers. We're just doing this from what we research. Other than that, always go to the professionals.
Yep.
Even if
Always.
you're having emotional disturbances, go to the professionals that are certified to do that. Okay?
Amen.
It's very
Thank you.
important. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for always putting that in there.
Yep.
And our brother Ashok, I almost miss you. How are you? Thank you so much for being that father behind our children in the world. We highly appreciate you. Thank you. And I'll complete this session and say, but you don't hear about it on the news. We need to raise awareness. We must wake up and save these children. Over 10 million children worldwide. Over 10 million. Thank you.
My
That's so
gosh.
true. And some
Oh,
of them too is even so disturbing that the parents abuse them in that home. They do. They're talking about polygamy. Polygamy is a thing in Africa. No, it's a thing right here in the developed country. They don't talk
we,
about it. I've
we
seen
do.
it. I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's right
Yes.
here.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
So
Of
a lot
course.
of things they don't talk about it, but that's is not good. If you don't talk about things that are happening, and you just going to talk about other things, it means we're not helping our children in any way. Because
No.
when a child sees something and you go and talk about something, they'll be like, this is what causes mistrust in children a lot.
Yes. The Bible talks about taking the speck out of somebody's eye while there's a big log in yours. So
Yes.
make sure you can see clearly and be honestly speaking towards what you want to address.
Yeah.
Don't be hypocritical and you're doing it in your place, but it's not okay over there. People don't trust anybody who behaves like that.
Certainly. Certainly. Thank you.
Yeah.
How can a nation's economy be complete when more than half of its citizens cannot contribute equitably? How? How? We need to come back to that statement someday and talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hello, Saraj Babu. How are you, my beautiful girl? We miss you, but you came again today. Thank you so much. I love that beautiful red dress. Red is my favorite color, actually. Thank you. Families, let's start our week in uplifting our children by pressing the big thumbs up. I told you,
Yes.
subscribe if not yet done. Turn on the notification bell and share with families and friends. Thank you so much, Nancy. And let's go down here. And Melanie McCann says, for freedom, biblically, we have been set free. Stand firm, therefore, and do not submit again to a yoke of slavery. Therefore, we stand in solidarity against women and children's slavery. Thank you so much. Thank you, Melanie. That is so, so powerful. Thank you.
Mhm.
And for freedom, uh, okay. Okay, it's the same thing, right?
It's the same one, yes.
Okay, we have our beautiful sister Cheryl Bess. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us today. We highly appreciate your support for children. Hello, good to see everyone. Had a good weekend, went to a baby shower and won a gift. Hope you all had a good weekend. Hello, Yvonne Finn and Yvonne Mundih. Oh,
What a nice weekend, right?
that's a
Nice.
beautiful weekend. And that baby is going to be one of the smartest babies in the world, okay? Because you are from one global movement and you attended it. I'm saying you, it's like a joke, but that's what is going to happen. Watch and see what that baby is going to do in the world.
There you go.
Yes, yes, yes. And let's go down here. I hope I'm not missing anything.
No, you're good.
So for the second time, my mic and camera won't work in StreamYard. It says blocked. That's okay. I think they're working on it like since everyone, because it happened to us last week. It was a
Yeah,
problem.
I did. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry about that. Okay. All right. And we have Sir Damandra Raval, how are you, sir? Thank you so much for joining us today. We miss you, but you come again. And say hello to your family. And thank you so much for supporting children today. Great news by Mr. Chris and Marty, sir. One global movement. Okay, yes, great news. We're glad that we are following up with all of those updates. That's great. Thank you. And Melanie said, Lou, okay, StreamYard, be very careful. Melanie is not going to be so nice now. Sorry for All right, we're going to wonder, Melanie. Oh my God. Sir AB, who's that?
I know.
Wow. It's been a long, long time, sir, and you are here. Thank you so much. How have you been? How are your beautiful girls doing? Thank you so much that you are here again with us. We highly appreciate you, and we hope you had a good time. Thank you.
Wow, that's nice to see you, sir.
Greetings, Sir AP Madhusadanan. All right, I'm going to show you. It might be a little bit longer, but we don't want that. So 2-3 minutes, I will stop it, okay? So that you guys can just see, because when we are talking about things like we say we are waiting for unpassive, you can never wait for anything without doing something. Exactly. You can never. We're asking for things from God. You can't ask without doing something. Because if you sit there and they're telling you pray, prayer without work is dead. Nothing is going to happen. God works only when you go to work, because he has given us the strength to work. I am doing these things because if you're teaching children, we have to be role models, like we always say. I cannot say we want to eradicate hunger and I pretend like I don't know how to do farming. Everybody can do something. You might not be able to do it the same way that I'm doing, but we all can do something. And that is another way of appreciating the farmers, okay? Because imagine if they were not, you say, I don't know how to do it. Nobody does it. They do it for them. So what are you going to do? Plant a flower at least. You can plant a flower in your home. That is something to be done. You can, if you have your own yard, like the Bible advises us, don't buy a home without a little bit of land to grow your own vegetable. And do not build a home without having a little bit of land to grow your own vegetable. From the backyard to the kitchen is the prescription from the Almighty God. So we need to know that we can do things in different ways. You don't have to do it the same way that another person is doing. No, you can do it differently. You can, like you're baking cakes. I also bake cakes. That is another way that you're fighting hunger for children. There are different ways. Or you can, if you cannot do the farming, what can you do? You can volunteer, or you can help with something for the farmer who can use it to do something. These farmers, they need people to support them a lot.
Yes, they do.
Feel well soon, AP Madhusadanan. Oh, if he was sick, feel well soon, okay?
Yes, he had an operation and he's recovering nicely, he said. So we're glad to hear that. Thank you for joining us today and letting us know. We celebrate.
It says it here. I am after operation recovering. Love you all. Thank you so much. We're going to be praying for you. We put our hands together that God's healing mercies will heal you. And thank God that you're with us. It means that you're already healing. Thank you so much.
Amen. Yes.
Okay. Now let's go here. Present. Let's watch that short video. You see me, Mundih at work.
Mundih in her glory. She loves this stuff.
I have to. Otherwise, you can't be teaching children without them going to eat something.
Yes, you're right.
At all. Okay, now let's see the handiwork of Melanie here.
Yeah, she did a good job turning it into a video. I love it. Take action daily. Yes. Way to go, Sister Yvonne. Yes. Way to go.
When we talk about a typical example of a person who doesn't just talk about it but takes action, is Dr. Mundih.
Yes. It
You
is.
can be able to see we've gone very far, but no videos were taken, but we're almost done. We're declaring it's huge. Because if we look at it, the farmyard, everything has been clear. We've come this far. We have tillers, we have mowers, we have weed wakers. Here we
Yes.
go. We have to cut the grass, we till it, and then we wait for the planting season. It's a serious work in action.
Yes. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Real examples of talking.
Yes. There you go. Do, talk, and do.
Okay. I think we should cut it off now. And all right. Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you,
Whoa.
everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. This shows that we are persistent, we are determined. We cannot talk without feeding the children. Then they will not listen, they will not be able to study. And we also, one lesson there is how you see how the animals, they interact with one another. They're not just the deers, they're interacting. And why not
Yes.
us human beings? Do we need to fight? Do we need to fight one another?
We
We can
don't.
just love one another. If we cohabit in peace and love, these children will come out well. All right.
Yes.
So thank you guys so much for
Thank you,
watching,
everyone. Yes.
for your support. Sister, close the session for us and we call it a day.
Well, sister, that video at the end there just exemplifies and demonstrates what you are trying to say. Talk, but do, because love is a verb. It means action. You can't just talk is cheap, people say, and I mean, it shouldn't be. People should do what they say, but So much talking and then nothing comes of it. So you must show by your actions that you mean what you were saying. And what we mean to say here is that our children are the most important things that we can have. We must always be focused all our good intentions on them, and we can do so. The resources are there. It's always about intentionality.
Yep.
It's always been, let us not be one of those who make it always be throughout our lifetime. Let's change that narrative, as you said at the beginning, and do rather than just talk.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. Tomorrow is another better day. Let's see tomorrow. If you cannot come, take good care of yourself and come when you can come. Again, welcome, Sir AP. And we're going to be putting our hands together for you to get well. And other people that are struggling with health challenges or challenges of any kind, we are here. Please, let's talk about things so that we can bring solutions to these things together, especially when they concern children, young people, and women. And until tomorrow, we love you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.